Hi, and welcome to Actors on Actors on Actors here at East West Players for the first in this, hopefully, series of interviews. I'm joined by
Roy Vongtama.
And
I'm David Huynh.
Yeah, and I'm Daniel Kim, and I'll be serving to moderate today's interview. And we're all part of the cast of Brothers Paranormal, and these two are our main stars. So we'll go and start. Roy, we're going to start with you, man.
Sure, man.
The star treatment.
Yeah,
Stars, he called us stars.
Well, the bigger star starts goes second, so.
So you were in the off-Broadway world premiere for the Brothers Paranormal. What is it like being on this journey with the play again? How has it changed this time around?
Yeah, that's a really good question. In New York, it was the first time we staged it, so a lot of the stuff was being figured out in rehearsal. And what's unusual about this LA run is that the director and the writer are the same, and they're both in the rehearsal process with us. So we're getting to explore things in a deeper way that we didn't before. And also, I'm playing the same character, so I'm kind of past the point of like, I'm gonna remember my lines, you know? I'm past that point, and I'm kind of like, you know, why am I here? What are the things that are gonna link scenes together? What are the things that are gonna link our character more together? What are the nuances? And so it's been really cool in that way, and we've gotten to explore like simple things, like even in the set, we oriented the set design in the way that my own Thai house and my family's house is.
Oh, like the real?
Yeah,
the Buddha statue being
yeah, with the Buddhist, Buddha statue, and then the king and everything below, and then the family below that. So that's very super Thai.
Very cool.
And that wasn't like that in New York.
That's right. Because in New York, there's a little more found space or a little bit more abstract space.
Yeah, right? I mean, the big advantage here is that East West Players owns their own theater space, and in Pan Asian Rep, they rent. So they a lot of their budget goes toward the rental, and here most of the budget goes toward making the project. So you got a lot more support in that way.
That's super cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's awesome. All right, Dave, we're gonna shoot one for you. This is actually the second play of Prince's that you have done, Prince Gomolvilas, that you've done. And what is it about Prince's work that keeps drawing you in, like the writing of the story? Or...
Yeah, well, I just think Prince is just a unique writer. He has such a creative mind, and like he's always just thinking out of the box. And not only that, but he likes to play with contradicting elements within his own plays, right? And so it's never what you think it's going to be. It's never a straightforward line. This is the agenda of the piece or the characters or the plot. There's always some form of wild left turns in all of his work, right?
Totally.
And so even being a person as an admirer of reading his material, it's just it's very fulfilling in that way, right? And so being able to do his work, to say his words, is beyond anything else. And I think Prince should have way more recognition than he does right now.
Right.
Like, to me, he's up there with the mammoths, you know, of the great American playwrights, and he should be recognized that way because he's so good.
Yeah.
And he should be recognized like nationally for his work and his artistry. And so what really pulls me in is his use of language. It's never simple, you know. There's always rhymes, and he writes in rhymes, but there's specific ways to say it. So it's very, very memorable, his work.
When you're kind of digging into, like, because you were Mysterious Skin, and then you're now in Brothers Paranormal, when you're digging into his work, is there kind of like a thematic or like a technical through line that you see besides, I mean, obviously you're talking about the technicality of his language, but is there another kind of artistic through line you're seeing?
I always think of Prince like the way he writes, like many playwrights as well. It's like as a prism of work that you would have to do, and at the very top is words, is the language. Sure. Right, and I think that is technically the where it all lives. Right.
Sure.
And it's the technical aspect of the words and the way his writing is, and then it goes down from there.
I see. So when you're talking about whether it's Mysterious Skin or this, his always starts with his words being like incredible.
Yeah.
Got it.
But that's not just Prince. I think that's just respecting the playwrights and stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's weird that you don't get the lines right every night.
No, I'm not like that. I honestly, I don't think I'm particularly adaptable to do like to do Prince's work.
Come on,
And I know it's very.
just giving you a hard time.
No, but
Yeah.
it's the truth. That's the truth, and I don't think I really actually don't think I'm a very good theater actor.
What the? Hey,
I have
watched
with
you.
diction.
Yeah.
I have problems with controlling my instrument of my body. I have a lot of issues that don't really.
Most of
work
your-
I have watched you over 20 times doing this play, even more than that.
Yeah.
I've seen this play more than anyone except for maybe Prince and Jeff. So coming from the outside, you're doing incredible. When like tackling Prince's words, you're doing an amazing job. Roy, obviously.
The moments he plays, though, I want to give him a lot of credit for this. Every moment is unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even the same
Absolutely.
lines coming out of his mouth are coming out in a different way,
Yeah, man.
which sometimes it changes the rhythm of what's happening. But
That's just me forgetting my lines.
No,
man.
dude.
it makes me as in the scene with him go, okay, I have to listen.
Right.
I have to listen because if I'm coming out with what I think is going to come out, then it may not work tonight because of how it can be simple as like, what? He's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yesterday he said what? And today there's like a whole thing, and maybe it is him trying to remember
But
what.
today he took like 10
But
minutes.
if
he
we're
thought
talking
about the word, and then he said what?
If we're talking about the ideal of theater being live or being alive, right? Then
Right.
hey,
Yeah.
you're really taking it there.
No, he's
everyone.
taking
I like
it. Yeah.
that.
It's
So,
awesome. I think
yeah.
it's super fun.
That's very cool.
I think it's
Yeah.
super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, for Roy, you have an extensive acting career. You've produced 6 award-winning feature films. You're an integrative radiation oncologist, and you published a book about the techniques you recommend for fighting cancer. And apparently, I and the rest of the world are wondering, where are you getting this time from to do all of these things, man? Do you have a time machine? Do you have like an anti-aging advice? Did you have like the fountain of youth come before you?
That's an interesting question. I mean, being any Asian people out there, son of immigrants, are going to know this. Is my parents wanted me to be a doctor, right? So I've been trained since I was like 5 to be a cancer doctor. And like I was with my dad in his hospitals, like following him around, just learning.
Your dad is a doctor too.
Huh?
Your
My dad is an oncologist too. So
Oh.
yeah. So I was following him around since I was little. So like being a doctor was kind of like always in me. And so when it became time that I was like, oh, I have this like really strong artistic side, the doctor part, I don't want to say it this way, but it came a little easier to me than for other people because a lot of it was intuitive.
Sure.
And then so the acting part was the part I really needed to work, and I'm still working. Like next to these guys, I'm kind of like, these guys, this is what they do, and for me, this is half of what I do. So I have to work even harder on my side to maintain a level of professionalism to do what they do. That is like their whole mind. I sometimes will come. And they know sometimes I'll come from the clinic, I'll come right to the theater, and I just saw this cancer patient that's it may die, and it's dying, and then I'm coming in here and we're trying to like be free and not use my mind and just to come from an emotional place.
Sure.
So
It's very admirable though, because I feel like I feel like I have lost a lot of bit of or compromised a lot of my life to do this thing, and you seem to have been able to go, I can do it and I can do this and succeed at both areas, right?
For sure.
And it's really awesome. I
Thanks.
think it's really incredible.
well,
Yeah.
I was telling Daniel, off camera, I said, I call it genius of and. I never say or. I call it the genius of and the tyranny of or. So everybody, and our minds are made to be like yes or no, 0 or 1. And that's just the way our minds have been trained for fight or flight to help us survive. But it's not actually good for us in the modern world. So I always call it genius of and. It's like find a way to make everything, to do both.
Right.
You can do both. It's just are you able to believe that you can? And then once you start to believe it, you can do it. You can do it. And so there's less sleep involved. And it was highly efficient.
A lot more coffee.
Conversations and
Yeah.
if conversations are taking too long, a lot of times I'll shut them down because I don't have time.
Right. So
Wow.
speaking of time, how do you manage the time?
Yeah,
to do-
man.
to do
Between
that?
all
Yeah.
3 publishing doctors.
Yeah, no.
Professional actor.
I'm just
4.
super. I schedule out everything. Everything's a schedule. So like Daniel knows I meditate a lot. So I'm like, okay, I got to leave downtown. I have mapped it out. 2:10, I got to leave. I'll get to the I'll get to the church at 3, I'll meditate till 3:40, and I'll leave at 3:40. I'll get to the parking lot at 3:55, take me 5 minutes to walk in, say hi, and then I'll go from this to that. So my mind is
Holy
See,
God.
you don't have a time machine in real life. You got it in the brain. Like that's what that is.
You're like a walking calendar.
Wow, man, that's incredible.
That's how I do it though, because otherwise I don't have time. I can't take, like a lot of people, you can take like a 2-hour phone call.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. If I do, it's on the way on the car.
That's my biggest downfall, and I've always told people this, is time management. And I always get very stressed out because I can only do like maybe 2 things a day, right? Like that's all I'm capable of. It's like, it's 2 things, and if something else pops in my life, I freak out, and I go, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to fit it in. It's not that I can't, my brain doesn't let me go, oh, you do this, and you shove that over to the side, you Lego it, that's amazing. That's
It's kind of a survival skill, or else I was screwed,
For sure.
Right,
for sure.
yeah.
On the other end, I want to ask you, David. So apparently Roy has a resume of like being a doctor, being an actor, but can he say that he roasts coffee beans in his own backyard? You know that you can get them at the store, but you do it yourself.
He certainly could.
So what's the whole coffee journey? There's Ethiopian coffee in the play, and you're yourself a coffee connoisseur.
Yeah, well,
what's that journey like?
I'm just an admirer of coffee. Like Delia, she just fancies one particular fancy thing in her life, and for her it's coffee. You know, it's the same for me. Even though I'm not as actually knowledgeable as she is, or many other real coffee connoisseurs, I just like to experiment and mess around with beans and roastings and different extraction procedures and methods.
For sure.
Can you really taste like the fruits in beans and stuff like that?
You can. I sometimes can. Yeah.
Oh,
you
really?
can. Yeah. There is. If you drink enough like coffees, you do develop. It's like wine.
Palate.
It's kind of like wine tasting, right?
It's very
Yeah.
much like wine.
Really?
Or you can develop a palate and distinguish the different tasting notes of it. The different.
Does it have to be like a pure coffee, or can you still taste it? Like if you put sugar in, you still can taste it?
Oh no, you don't want to do that.
You
don't want to alter it. You don't want to alter it. Yeah.
It's drinking like, straight, so it's like you're drinking like coffee black or Americanos.
Oh yeah.
Diluted.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely.
I only drink flavored stuff.
Yeah. That's like someone
Gotta get those pumpkin spice lattes
that's
for
like
Dr.
someone
Roy.
saying, you know, like I brew my own beers at home, I do all that stuff, but then you just buy Budweiser. You know what I mean? So it's like the same idea, right? Yeah.
Amazing. Anyways, we'll go and dovetail this at the end. Wanted to ask this for both of you. Why do you think people should watch Brothers Paranormal? When we've been talking about Prince's work, approaching acting.
You should watch it for this guy.
I will say something though. This play we did in 2019, we've done it again now post-pandemic. It's a different play because this play, a lot of it is about ghosts, but it's also about loss. And I think everybody has experienced some of that. And I think I think the audience is getting a different experience of it because of what they've been through. I really think, me talking to audiences after both, and I think our production in New York was really good too. It's just the audience has grown. When you suffer, you've grown.
Right.
So they're taking it in a different way. And I'm taking it in as an artist in a different way, and I'm playing moments differently, but I think the audience has an empathetic response that wasn't there before. Before it was like, oh, these are things happening
to them,
and now I think it's like, oh, these things, I get it. It happened to me. And so when you see things happening on stage that are sad and heartbreaking, but also funny, and there's moments of enlightenment, all those things that have a deeper resonance.
Totally.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what the idea of theater is all about, right? Like holding that mirror up to your social circumstance of what is happening now, and this is what's happening now, right?
Yeah.
So we're all dealing with the aftermath of something quite big that just happened. So,
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. All right. And with that, I think we'll close our Actors on Actors on Actors. Roy, David, thanks so much for your time. And we can't wait for you all to see these last 2 weeks of the Brothers Paranormal here at East West Players.
Let's go.
See you around.